Marino never wanted the ball taken out of his hands. Jimmy wanted to run the ball more. He wanted to run the ball. Okay? And Marino didn't. All right. Howard Eskin's going to join us at 4:30. We still down in Hollow? Are we? Yeah. I don't know what happened here. I went over with, I kept trying to do it throughout the whole thing. It says, there's that issue. It just won't do it, man. I don't know. So see if we can fix it. I apologize, guys. We'll get this thing straightened out here. But tell you what, man, those guys had a great show today. And I heard Zander say something that's important. People are going to start flocking back here because, I mean, tomorrow I think we're 14 days out from the start of training camp for the Eagles. We'll be 4 days out from the Chargers starting, 4 days out from training camp, which is insane. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Scoopers go to the top. We will read them at the end. Howard Eskin will join us at 4:30 as well. Without further ado, we bring in from the show in the morning, Birch 365, Big Z, Zander Krause. How you doing?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Oh, good. Zander, still, man? Still a little bit, right?
It's a little better, but we'll fix it after. It's not too bad.
Right.
Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it.
How was your fourth, bro?
It was good, man. You know, great to spend some time with the family. Obviously, I love this great country that we live in, that we're privileged to live in. So a beautiful time to be alive, Big Sills. And, you know, it's always a special 4th of July when the Philadelphia Eagles are the world champions of football. And that's what they are right now. So this 4th of July has been the best 4th of July since the 2018 4th of July. So a big shout out to the Birds, baby, for getting it done and making this a better 4th than most. All right. So well done to the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. Well, let me ask you then. It leads right into the top question. What will be different from this 18 and the 23 teams moving into 2025? What will be the difference?
The youth. I mean, look at the difference in the approach by the front office. They brought, you know, in 18, they obviously brought back, made the mistake of kind of doubling down on the Alshon Jeffries of the world. And as much as I love Alshon, obviously there was a lot of decisions there that they made to bring back some of the older guys that maybe they probably shouldn't have. But when you win your first Super Bowl, you create an emotional attachment to them. And you do that. I think this team is a younger unit, and that's no guarantee that it's going to work better. But I do think that that's going to give them the opportunity, or that is the difference of what they did. And no guarantee it works, but I do think it gives you a better chance. It's a young man's game. And so I think the biggest difference with the Eagles' young guys is I think they got the right young guys. Like, not every team where you get young guys isn't like, oh, it's a young man's game, this is going to work. I think when you look across the board at some of our young guys, you got Jalen Carter is obviously a young player. You got Cooper and Quinion on the defensive side of the football. Even on offense, I mean, Jalen Hurts is only 27 years old. Saquon Barkley's 28 years old. A.J. Brown's 28. This is a young football team with really, really exceptional football players on all sides of the ball, and I think that's going to be the difference. Now, will the pieces fill in around them? That's yet to be determined, but I think they got a good chance, and that is the difference in my eyes from 18 and 23.
What do you think wins Super Bowls, youth or experience?
I think threading the needle on that is the hardest part. I think you need youth, and I think you need experience. And finding threading that needle is a very hard thing to do. And, Howie did it perfectly last year. Everything worked perfectly. I think even Eagles fans, even the most devout Eagles fans could look and say, well, there's no guarantee this works again. I mean, I like what they did, but last year was a perfect combo. Is it going to be the same? It will not be the same. Could it work? I think it could work. It will look different. Did they go too young? I got to be honest, that's probably one of my concerns coming into the year. Now, I don't think they did, but it wouldn't surprise me if that becomes a storyline later in the year because, man, it's a very, very young football team. And I do think that balance is important. I mean, look at what Slay brought. Look at what Brandon Graham brought last year. Look at what even your your guys, Josh Sweat, he was 28 or 29 years. He was an older guy. He's been in the league for a long time. So you lose some of those guys and you put all the pressure on the young guys to step up. Again, I think we got a special group of young guys, but will they thread the needle? I think so, Big Sales.
How about this one here? I'm going to go two sides here with you. First, I'm going to go glass half full on the positive end. Why will the Eagles repeat as champions?
Why will the Eagles repeat as champions? Because they're a dominant football team. They're the best. They're still, even with all their losses, I think someone like you who is eternally pessimistic.
Because I don't believe you're doing that.
Well,
again.
that's fine. And I'm not knocking you. I'm saying somebody with your mindset would look at this team and still say, well, that's still the best roster in the NFC. I think you'd say, I don't want to speak for you, but I think even you guys, someone like John who tries to be objective, I think that's why. And I think they have a great team. I think they have the right quarterback for the team. I think they have the right defensive coordinator for the team. And I think they have the big pieces in place. And I could see him going back. That's why they'll win it.
No one's said that to me and asked me that. Sills, do you think the Eagles have the best roster in the league? I do.
That's a big statement.
Now, I do. However, I think it's very inexperienced all over the board, and most definitely on the defensive side. So I'll ask you this side. Why won't the Eagles repeat as champions?
Defense doesn't pan out. Young guys don't take the step forward. You need them to take the step forward. Defenses take away Saquon Barkley, and the offense doesn't adjust. Now, I don't think all these things will happen. I'm just saying if they don't win, these are the things I presume we will talk about. The offense has to obviously become more versatile this year, in my opinion. I think they're going to be asked to be more versatile. I think they're going to, by way of necessity, will need to be more versatile. And then the defense. I mean, you've talked about it all summer, and I think rightfully so. We've talked about it all summer on Birds 365. There's a lot of change there. There's a lot of change there. Now, you can be optimistic and say, I believe the change will be good, but that's no guarantee. That's no guarantee. And to be fully transparent, if they brought back every player in the defense, it'd be an optimistic take. Yeah. So, kind of pick your poison. They picked the youth pill, and let's see if it pans out for them. But I think they're in a good spot. I think if I'm being I don't know. Tell me if you think this is crazy. I think Howie in the front office has done close to everything they could to position this team to repeat. It doesn't mean everything's going to work out, but I think from their perspective, they did about as much as they could. Now, someone could say, why the hell did you get rid of CJ Gardner-Johnson? And I would agree with that. That was the one move I think they made that made people question, what the goal was or the vision was, but they brought back Goddard. They brought back Baun. You got all the offensive linemen coming back with the exception of Mekhi Becton. I think they've done everything to put themselves in the right position. Now, will the players on the field and the coaches, in the locker room be able to get the most out of the team? That's yet to be determined.
There's no question their plan was to force Goddard into making less money because the only move they made was that Harrison Bryant kid. They didn't draft the guy, and that worked.
Yeah, it did.
It worked, okay? And I think this, Zander, you said this about Howie putting him in a position. I think Howie had a dual-track plan. I got to worry about 26 and 27 financially, and I've got to worry about us being in the conversation about being one of the top 5 teams in the NFL. He's done both. Again, I don't think the league caught you. I think you move. Get this. The league, I had a conversation with somebody about you guys today, and I said this. They took the step back. The league didn't take the step up. Does that make sense? Like, the league didn't make a step up. You made a step back. When you got teams making giant leaps, I'll tell you what, I think the Rams getting Devontae Adams, adding him over Cooper Kupp, I think that elevated their offense a little more. They got better in the offensive line, I do believe. They're a year older. Will Father Time catch up with Stafford? I think we're starting to get there at 37, where he is. But I don't think the league moved forward. You moved back. I think there's a difference, Zander, because you moving back and them not catching you allows you the autonomy to make steps for 26 and 27. That's how I think he looked at this offseason. Nobody got a 2-year contract. Doesn't that tell you something? And nobody got real big money.
And I don't think the step back is in cement. And what I mean by that is, you're right, it's projection to project that they will work out. But they did not sign a bunch of older, shittier guys that are going to put you in cement. You're definitely worse. Like, let me just give you a scenario. And again, this is optimistic. Jalen Hunt has double-digit sacks or becomes a versatile player. Nolan Smith takes another step forward. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell take another step. Zack Baun is another first-team All-Pro. Moro Ojomo can rush the passer successfully. Ty Robinson fills in as a good backup piece. Again, it's a lot of things going right, but that's what I mean when you pull back, but you're not in cement back there. You know, you could propel forward. You could be better. Doesn't mean they will be, but they do have that opportunity. So, you pulled back a little bit, but maybe it's a pullback to get better. That's kind of how I see it. I think that's what the front office sees too, and we'll see if that pans out for him.
Why do you think that Zack Baun is not a one-year wonder?
Well, I think when you watch his play and when you actually watch him from down to down, nothing about him screams to you one-year player. Now, I only have the benefit of seeing 1 year, so I can't really speak on the bigger MO. But I think when you watch the player and you watch the skill set and you look at the way he fit into the system and the way that Vic used him, I think he's at the very worst will be a good linebacker. Maybe he's not first team All-Pro again, but I think at the very least, he's going to be a good to great linebacker, a top 10 linebacker in football because of the system and because of the way he plays in his skill set. Now, unless he gets hurt, unless he has a drastic fall in talent, and unless he's used completely differently in the defense this year, I don't really see him going back that much further. And you're right, it's 1 year, but I think the player is mature. I think the guy understands what he's being asked to do. And I think he is in a great position to kind of go out there and be a great player again for this team. It's 1 year, so it is hard to say, but I feel very confident in Zack Baun. I really do.
A couple things with that. Do you think the NFL has a lot of game tape on Jalen Hurts now and the things he does well and the things he doesn't do well?
I think they certainly have a good amount of tape on him. The thing I'd say that's a positive is it's all different tape. Each year, it's a different version of the player. He's had
to evolve in some way.
Right. I mean, I think year 5, you could look at the tape through years 1 through 4 and be like, well, what are we going to get in year 5? Are we going to get 22? Or are we going to get 23? Are you going to get 24? Or is 25 going to be another new version of him?
How about offensive coordinators getting the tape on Zack Baun, not knowing who the fuck he was ever, not knowing who that player was? All of a sudden now, bro, you're a different human now. You're a guy's number they circle. And they're going to have a game plan for you. They're going to have crossing blocks. They're going to have big people on you. They're going to be going for you. This is going to be a completely different year for him. You know, Zander, it's one thing to come out of the darkness and nobody know who the hell you are, and you could just jump out at people.
Right.
He ain't that guy no more. Your first team All-Pro, they go after Fred Warner. They went after Ray Lewis. They went after these guys.
And here's the take. I mean, here is what the Eagles bet on. You can game plan for Fred Warner all you want or know he's there all you want. That's still Fred Warner.
Yeah.
And he's still going to be that good. So the bet that the Eagles the bet that the Eagles made was that even with that knowledge that now the rest of the league has, that player is good enough. And I like bringing up the 90s Cowboys example because I think it's a good one. You knew Troy Aikman and Emmett and Michael Irvin were good. They didn't give a shit. You still couldn't stop it. Well, that's going to be what it's going to have to be with Zack Baun this year. You can know he's there. You can game plan for him. You can, know that the Eagles defense is built around him, but he still has to be a good enough player to play through that and make an impact on the team. I think he will be.
Who do you think had a bigger impact on the Eagles winning the Super Bowl a year ago, Zack Baun or Barkley?
Barkley. Well,
that's win that Super Bowl. That defense held Mahomes to not get across the 50.
But what did that team look like without Barkley? What does that defense look like without Barkley?
What's that defense look like
without Barkley? Because it's such a tough question, though, because it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is the defense as good as they were without Barkley? Is Barkley as good as he was without the defense? In the Super Bowl game, yes, the defense obviously played a bigger role than Barkley did, but do you get to the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley? That's such a catch-22. It's a very hard question to answer. I think if you take one of those guys, either one of them, off the team last year, you might not win the Super Bowl. I think you could say that about Baun. I think you could say that about Barkley. So it's a tough one to answer.
So who do you think had more of an impact on his unit a year ago, Barkley or Zack Baun?
Well, Saquon Barkley just had the single best rushing season in the history of the NFL.
And you were number one on defense.
Yeah, but there's been number one defenses before. There's never been a 25-0-3 runner or whatever.
He's never had a number one defense win the Super Bowl. Ever.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No, that can't be right.
You've never had the number one ranked defense that won the Super Bowl. Ever.
In the NFL?
No, you haven't.
In Philly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my point is you've never had a Saquon Barkley. There has been other number one defenses in the NFL. There has never been a Saquon Barkley.
I don't remember the last time a team that was number one in defense won a Super Bowl.
Was Peyton Manning's Broncos team number one in defense? No, probably not.
Oh, with Von Miller, maybe. When that defense was insane. Hey, maybe that Seattle team when the Seahawks team back in the day when they had those guys, yeah.
Yeah, the number one, the 15 Broncos were the number one ranked defense in the NFL.
With Von Miller. Because Baun was actually in that game.
Seattle might have been too.
Yeah, but it's very rare when you see this. I gotta bring this up here.
Wait, so here we go. 2010 Packers were the number one defense in football. 2013 Seahawks were the number one defense in football. 2016 Patriots were the number one defense in football. Okay. And then you go offensively. You have 99 Rams were the first overall offense. 97 Broncos were the first overall offense. 96 Packers were the first overall offense. 95 Cowboys were the first overall offense. 94 Niners were the first overall offense. So more instances of offensive ranking, but interesting on the defensive front. You have 16, you had 18 with the Broncos, you had 13 with the Seahawks, 2010 with the Packers. So there's your instances of the first overall defenses winning the Super Bowl.
All right, guys, please super chats and hit the like button. I got to read you something. I got a couple more things here for you. So let me read this to you. I heard John's comments, and John just brushed them off. When I heard them, I fucking hit the fan. So I tweeted this out. So did former Eagle and current 49er edge rusher Bryce Huff quit on the Eagles?
Kind of.
There's a plethora of things that went down. I'm quoting him. I don't want to get into specifics. Being in the league for 5 years, but if you know anything about Vic, that means Dick. I kind of knew what it felt like for me to be in a good position. You know what he's telling you? Coaches embraced him, liked him, and wanted to coach him. Here's the next line. I got to look out for myself and do what I think is best. What the fuck does that mean? Does that mean you didn't play through injury? Hell, even Hassan Reddick played through injury. Then he goes on. I kind of knew where it was heading fairly early on in the season. You know why? That's when they started playing Nolan and they started playing Hunt when PG got hurt in that Ram game. Probably even training camp, if I'm being honest. You know what they asked him to do? They signed him to be a 3-down player because they drafted Hunt to be a 3-down player. They wanted Nolan Smith to be a 3-down player, but he wasn't capable of doing it. How many times did Zander Krause last year in the first 3-4 weeks of the season say, Stills, this fucker's a liability? They knew it immediately. So you know what he did? Do you know the most embarrassing thing here about this? So when you get your Super Bowl box and you were fucking deactivated for the game.
Yeah, now we know why he was, by the way.
Because Vic didn't want him around.
And like you just said, he was on Cancun mentally.
He completely had checked out of this team in training camp.
Well, maybe that's why he stunk so bad.
And here's why it matters. Get this. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Here's why. That fucking defensive coordinator is going to look at the pieces on the field, and he's going to do this. Who plays? Who do I start here? Think about what you had a year ago, Zander. You had $11.2 million in Bradbury. You had $17.5 in Huff. And you had another $5 in Devin White. You had $33 million that paid no dividends for the number one ranked defense because that coordinator went like this. Fuck them guys. I don't care what the front office paid him. I'm playing Isaiah Rodgers, who was just coming off his bookie. Guy's been out of ball a year. I'm playing these two rookies, and I'm putting these people in. I'm putting Tristan McCullum in.
Yeah.
And he thought, like Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey, that, hey, I'm entitled because you gave me the contract. He thought he was going to roll in here because of the contract that Howie gave him, and he was going to have first dibs on being a starter and him playing the full year. And Vic said this, no way. That tells you a lot about that guy, dude.
Yeah. It was never going to work out. I mean, he checked out as is, but he was not going to work in this defense anyway, the way that Vic plays defense. So, but you're right. I mean, I think it's an egregious look. And I don't, the one guy said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for the Eagles. We got Super Bowl rings. It doesn't really matter. But what Sills is saying does highlight, stuff about
his
the coordinator,
mentality.
highlights stuff about the player as well. Can you imagine Sills making $18 million and cashing in at training camp? I mean, shit, I don't make anywhere close to that. I grind my ass off 365 days of the year, just like you do. Just like everybody in the chat, how many people work every day for a living and don't make $18 million and don't check out on their job? Just the thought of checking out on your job tells me all I need to know about who you are as a man. I mean, I'm sorry. That is ridiculous.
You know what I would have done, honest to God, so that I felt part of it? I would have volunteered to play special teams. I would have done something to get on the field and let the coaches know that I'm in this.
You just gotta work your ass off. I mean, even if you're not playing, work your ass off. Be a good player, be a good teammate.
Oh, they're paying you. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't get that. I wasn't wired like that. I wasn't raised like that. I can't understand that because I've always had a strong work ethic and things of that nature, and I just don't really understand that. But again, I do think at some point, when you make as much money as they're making, some of these guys get a little jaded in the head. And maybe Bryce Huff was that. But good riddance. See you, brother. I don't miss you. I also don't really have ill will toward him because I don't really give a shit. We won the Super Bowl. So fuck him and see you, brother.
But again, I think it says more about Vic.
It does. It was never going to work with Vic, though. Don't you agree? Even if Bryce Huff had a good year, it was not going to work with Vic. I mean, he's a wide nine. He's a wide nine edge rusher.
Remember what I kept bringing up to you? Remember everyone kept saying I was full of shit when I was going like this. You think Vic Fangio's talking highly of this guy? How many times did I say that last year? Vic Fangio is not talking highly of this guy, and this was in the first 3 games of the year. He never said anything positive about the guy. And you know what I think happened? I think Jalen Hunt ran this guy into the white flag. I think Jalen Hunt made him quit.
Well, Jalen Hunt, I know we're the guy still has to pan out and has a long way to go yet, but his skill set matches what Vic Fangio wants. It does. That player, he's got versatility. He can drop into coverage. He'll do what you want. He's fast off the edge. He sets the edge well. He does all the things in theory that Vic would want him to do, and Bryce doesn't do any of those things. So you might be right about that. It's good. It's a good call out by you.
All right. In 2025, who's the one player you want to see and you're most excited about this year seeing?
Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. He's 27. He's going into the prime of his career. His evolution as a quarterback, I think, is getting close to reaching where he will be at his ceiling because of what he took on last year at the line of scrimmage. You're now going into year 2 of that. It's your offense. Everybody knows Saquon Barkley is there now, okay? And they're going to do their best to take it away. What will Jalen do to manage the game, to manage the team, to manage the offense, and to put this team back in a position where they can go back and repeat as Super Bowl champions? Because in my estimation, the same version of Jalen Hurts last year will not win you the Super Bowl this year. And I don't think that's a knock on the player at all. I think that's the circumstance of last year's team. When you look at this year's team, let's factor in a 20% regression on defense and you slide to top 7 in defense. Okay, you're losing some steam there. Let's factor in Saquon Barkley doesn't get 2,500. He gets 2,000, including the playoffs. All right, that's about a 20% regression there. Where is the rest of that coming? In my eyes, it's the quarterback, it's the quarterback, it's the quarterback. I'm very excited for this year of Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to have his best year ever. And I think that's why he's going to be back in the MVP conversation, because I think that the team is going to dictate that he's going to be needed more. And I think he's ready for it. I think he's positioned better now than he was in 23 or even 22. And that's who I'm most excited for, without a shadow of a doubt. That's the guy I'm most excited for. Really, I think if Jalen Hurts comes out and plays like an MVP this year, okay, how much does that make up for in any regression you have on defense and in the running game? That's where I think this team gets back to the Super Bowl. If Jalen takes it to the next level, which it's not a knock. Last year he didn't have to. Defense was what they were. Saquon was what he was. If he takes it to the next level this year and kills these defenses with whatever it is that they give him, this team will be flat out unstoppable. What will you do? If every time you give him a slither, he takes it and he seizes that opportunity, and then you got Saquon and you got AJ and Devon, what are you going to do? And how much will that change how much pressure is on the defense? Because in theory, your offense would then be scoring 28, 30 points a game. It takes a little bit of pressure off that young defense to win so many games for your team early on. Let's be real. The defense is returning 7 of their 11 starters, right? Is that right? Yeah, you lost Sweat, Milton, CJ, and Slay. And technically, it's 6 because your linebacker is hurt as well with Nakobe Dean.
That's right.
So you have 6 of 11 in the – well, Nakobe's not playing the first 4 weeks. So in the first 4 weeks, when that defense needs time to get up to speed, to get acclimated, to do the things they have to do, that offense is going to have to win you football games. And I think they're going to do it. And I'm very excited for the year that Jalen Hurts is about to have, because I think this is the year that people like Sills, that people like Chris Sims, that haters like Chris Carton, they have to finally say, I don't have anything left. There's nothing left to chirp. He's continued to do it in year 5 in another new way. This is the Jalen Hurts season, baby.
Here's the guy I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't believe Barkley will do it again. He's been injured 3 of the last 6 years. He's had one spectacular year in his career outside of his rookie season. And I want to see it again. I've seen Jalen win in multiple ways the last 4 years. I haven't seen Barkley do this in his entire career. He had one great career. I saw Chris Jones go for $2,000. I saw Jamal Lewis go for $2,000. I've seen numerous people go for 2,000 yards and come back. And you know what? They were the shell of themselves.
Saquon's a rare breed.
I don't believe that.
Well,
okay. He's such a rare breed.
Okay, fine. Is Saquon a rare breed when you add in the offensive line that's in front of him?
Let me finish. Well, he wasn't a rare breed in New York.
Wow. Are you kidding me, though?
Okay. I get it.
I mean, Emmett wouldn't have been a rare
Every
breed there. Barry wouldn't have been a rare breed there. Nobody would have been a rare breed
the
there.
Cowboys won one football game before Emmett got there. They went on to win the Super Bowl the following year.
What was their offensive line like?
It was the same guys that were there when they were before Emmett got there. They were there.
Yeah, but the offensive line, I mean, they don't win you games, but they certainly help running.
Tom Landry signed every one of those guys. They were on a 1-15 team. They were on a 4-win team Landry's last season. And it changed the entire landscape of that offensive line. I'm not saying that's the dynamic. I actually think you're better than that Cowboy line. Okay, because you know why? You did it with multiple backs, where you had multiple people, Pro Bowlers, every year to last.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I have a hard time holding New York against Saquon. I really do. I mean, the place is a literal dumpster fire.
Okay, I got it. So the organization that he was in didn't help him win, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It is a team game.
Well, make sure you apply that to the quarterbacks who don't win either when they don't build teams around them.
I have very fairly applied that to all quarterbacks.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure, because when people point out that Hurts is winning and these other organizations aren't building teams around some of these
quarterbacks. I think me and you have talked about that more than maybe anybody. You know what I mean? I think me and you have discussed this more than anybody. And my only take with it is, I don't knock those players because I do think their organization hasn't done good enough. But because our Eagles organization has done good enough for Jalen Hurts, I don't use that against him.
No, I don't either.
I think that's the difference.
I do not use. No.
So, it'll be a football Friday, and you'll be in here. Caboose.
Well, again, the team has been built so well, he doesn't have to play great every week. That was on display this past year. He doesn't have to play great again. I keep telling people that metric is they're the only team in the league that you can say that about. I heard John McMullen say, what did he say that if Jalen wasn't on the team, they'd win 11 games? That's about right. They won't win the Super Bowl, but that's about right. You're telling me Barkley and those guys couldn't hold the fort down to 10, 11 victories? I mean, dude, Pittsburgh wins 9 games with Mason Rudolph. I mean, you're going to win games if you've got that entire offensive line. Okay? So I think Barkley, here's why I can't wait to see Barkley. Zander, if Barkley does this again, and he puts up an 1,800, I'm going to give you this. If he's over 17 or 1650 with 15 touchdowns, that would be one of the greatest follow-ups to a 2K season, because that would mean also that your quarterback elevated the team a little bit by the passing game. And like you said, meant that if they win 12, 13 ball games and Barkley goes for 1,650 and 15 touchdowns off of 2,000 yards, holy shit. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's going to put a Hall of Fame resume up. I want to show you one last thing here. To show you about these touchdown rushes about Jalen Hurts. It's a pretty funny stat, actually. I saw this today. Rushing touchdowns from the 1-yard line since 2021. Jalen Hurts, 33. Nobody in the league, 32. Nobody in the league, 31. Nobody in the league, 30. Nobody in the league, 29. Nobody in the league, 28 TDs. Nobody in the league, 27. Nobody in the league, 26. Nobody in the league, 25. Nobody in the league, 24. Nobody in the league, 23. Nobody in the league, 22. Nobody in the league, 21. Nobody in the league at 20. Nobody in the league at 19. Nobody in the league at 18. Nobody in the league at 17. At 16, Josh Jacobs. At 15, Derrick Henry. And at 14, Ramil Williams and Joe Mixon. This guy's got a fucking great running back stat here. James Conner at 13. David Montgomery at 12. Jonathan Taylor at 11. These are all running backs.
Why do
Najee
you hold this
Harris,
against him, though?
9. Christian McCaffrey, 8. Holy shit. Jalen Hurts
I
has
just
got
don't get why you hold that against him. Like,
no.
that's impressive to me.
Actually, it's a tremendous running back stat. I love it. No quarterbacks are mentioned on
You
this.
guys hear this asshole throw that word in there?
Wait a minute. No quarterbacks. Oh wait, I'm wrong. Josh Allen is in there at 13. Hurts has got 33.
Well, we know why.
Yard,
I mean, the Eagles
with
seem
1 yard TD runs since 2000. Wow.
How many of them are 1 yard though? Because he's had plenty that aren't 1 yard.
33.
No, not
Since
all 30.
2021, he's got 33 1-yard TD runs. 33. Wow. And the next closest guy is 16, Josh Jacobs. How you doing? What a fucking tremendous running
This is the
back.
comment of the day. Sills, you're as subtle as a train wreck.
Yeah. Hey, I think it's a tremendous, I think it's a fabulous running back statistic. Look at that. Jameer.
I don't hold that against Jalen Hurts. You do. All power to you.
I said it's a great running back stat.
Ring me, bitch. That's what Jalen's saying.
What a running back. Second best running back on your football team. Absolutely.
Jalen Hurts, listen, say what you want, have the opinion you want. I don't really care. Jalen Hurts has been a tremendous asset to this team. A tremendous asset to this team. There's no Super Bowl in this city without him. So say what you want, think what you want, opine what you want. I don't really give a shit. Jalen Hurts is a beast, and he's got to keep doing what he's doing because what he's doing has worked. 2 Super Bowls in 3 years for him, and he's going to go back again this year. Watch.
No, he's going back this year.
Yep. Who's going in the NFC?
What?
Let me guess. The Washington Commanders.
Well, they were 1 game away a year ago, which we predicted.
And they got absolutely boat raced, 55-23.
I know they did, boy. I'll tell you, man. Too bad you don't have that defense coming back. Well, let's think here. Do I think the Eagles make it to the NFC? As a matter of fact, I think we should do this. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to the NFC, and if they don't, fucking failure. Correct?
NFC Championship game or to the Super Bowl?
Fucking failure if they don't.
If they don't make it to the championship game or to the Super Bowl?
To the championship game.
I agree. And that's a failure. Yes.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
You want to listen? We've talked. Listen. The reason I say that response to that question is because I'm not allowed, and this is a standard I hold myself to, not that anybody has put this on me. I'm not allowed to sit up here after we won the Super Bowl and say this is the start of a golden age in Philly, and we have Philly 500 on here all the time, and we talk. I mean, fans right now, there's a sense of belief that this team, with the youth that they have, with the amount of winning that they've done, with the way they're built for the future, that we're entering a golden age. We can't believe that honestly, and then say, "Oh, we'll be happy in the divisional round." Nobody wants to fucking win a divisional round or go to the divisional round. No, we have bigger aspirations. Go ask Tom Brady if he was happy in the divisional round. I mean, go ask. It's like Kobe. Reminds me of the Kobe Bryant clip when he's miserable after he won Game 2 of the finals and he's up 2-0, and they're like, "Why aren't you smiling?" And he's like, "What the fuck is there to smile about?"
Z, in the last 8 years, you've been to 3 conference titles and 3 Super Bowls. I mean, you're kind of floating in that room now. Where
we are. I'm just saying, with that comes a standard for excellence that you have to achieve. And if you don't, again, I'll bring you back to when you guys dominated football and you were on the 80s Canes, the 1980 and the Canes in the 1980s. You didn't say, "Oh, I hope we make the Citrus Bowl." I hope we play in the Taco Bell Bowl. No. I mean, it was the national championship or we failed.
That's right.
That's what comes with greatness. So if you don't think they got to go further than that, then don't sit here and think that you're achieving greatness, because you're not. You're middle. You
want to hear a shitty comment I gave a reporter once? Guy goes like this: if you guys lose a game, I go, "We don't lose games." And the guy goes like this. He goes, "Well, if you lose a game, what if you ended up playing in December?" I go, "Big Sills don't play bowl games in December." Big Sills doesn't play bowl games in December. I only play on New Year's.
Exactly.
Okay, I don't play anywhere but New Year's Day, and I'm playing for something. I played my entire
speaking of it, I think the Crimson Tide are coming back this year. Bama.
I got them Final Four.
I know. You told me that. You kind of gave me some optimism, so I've been reading up a little bit on the Bama. I think
they did great recruiting.
Yeah, they've done good.
They did great. This guy, Vic, guess who's helping? Nick's helping out on recruiting.
Well, he is, but he also got a coach in here now who's ready to play this new game. Saban, as amazing as Saban was never going to shift off of Saban. And again, this is just my opinion from the way I watched it when I was even up close and personal and just following his career in Alabama. I believe that Saban truly loved teaching the game and coaching not only young players, but young men to become professionals, to achieve and desire greatness like we just talked about. That's what I believe motivated him. Now, NIL has naturally taken some of that out of the game. It's become more like a business, more like the professionals. And now you got a coach who's willing to work within those parameters with the help of Saban, bringing some guys in. I think you got a good recipe this year. So we'll see. Still not my favorite, but I'm hoping he can be good. All right. I'm hoping he can be good.
My last thing with you.
He's just Big 12 to me, isn't he? Like he's so Big 12. I look at him and I'm like,
Well,
I know he came from Washington. I can tell.
I got one last thing for you here. Well, bro, that's Zach Wheeler.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Is he better than Holiday?
I don't know if you can say he's better than Holiday, but I think you can say he's having a comparable season to what Holiday had.
Bro, it's been a couple of seasons.
Dude, every time this guy hits the mound, I'm like, Bills are going to win this game.
Game 1 year?
Never count out the Phillies bullpen to blow a game here and there. I mean, it's unbelievable. They have a knack for blowing games.
Unreal.
But Wheeler is a special talent, man. He is a dominant pitcher right now. I think he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I mean, I really do. I don't see a pitcher right now in the league who's dealing like he is on a consistent basis. I mean, every time he hits the mound. I mean, the Phillies have some other great pitchers right now. Christopher Sanchez, Luzardo, but Luzardo's too streaky for me. Wheeler is just fucking money, dude.
He's appointment setting watching TV now. Like
he is. He is.
Like, back in the day when Ryan and those guys or even a younger Kershaw.
Yeah, Scooble's good. Skeens is good. Yep.
You have to watch. I mean, I tuned him on and watched him, and he was just brilliant. I mean, old school off the mound, pushing you back off the plate.
I like the toppers, letting them pitch a little more too.
Yeah, man.
Man. Let them pitch.
I was so impressed with him.
I like old school baseball with that, man. Like if a pitcher's dealing and a pitcher has his stuff and he's late and he gets in a little bit of a jam, I am not the type of guy who would say, get out there, get him out. Get out there, get him. I would rather die on the sword of letting him out there than going to the pin and letting him knock in the runs that way. So Ranger Suarez, another good one fitter. He's pitching great recently. I don't know why they pulled him so quick on Saturday, but I've been really enjoying, man. I've been really enjoying Phillies baseball right now. I think the team is good.
I think they're going to win the East.
I think they got a really good chance. My worry is when you get to the postseason, how does that bullpen fare? How does that bullpen hold up? And the streaky bats. You can't have too streaky of a bat. So we'll see. But I think the team's in good shape, man. They got good pitching. Good starting pitching, at least right now.
Absolutely. By the way, Jeffrey, I'm a gigantic Joe Paterno fan, and I'll always be a Joe Paterno fan because he was a big Sills fan. And
wait, did you read that comment?
What's that?
Let me pull that back up for you. They asked Joe Paterno what bowl he was going to, and he said, "We are going wherever the Miami Hurricanes are going."
Yeah. I had a great relationship with Joe Paterno, and I don't know. He was looking for students, and I didn't want to be. I mean, I wasn't going to Happy Valley for a degree, dude. I was going there to Miami to play football there. So let's get to some of the supers. We got Howard Eskin coming up here in a couple.
Let's do it. Get me out of here before Howard. Bearded Willie, what's up, Bearded? He says agree, but Wheeler has to play better in the cold. Yeah, I mean, look, that's a problem with a lot of baseball pitchers. I mean, they're warm weather guys, man. They really are. But I don't know. I mean, let's see. I don't know what his numbers are in the cold, but All I know is right now in the middle of July or in the early July, that motherfucker is dealing Bearded Willie.
I tuned him on to watch him.
Yeah.
I just could not believe how insane great that guy is throwing the ball. I mean, I hadn't really watched him, Zander. Like, I hadn't really watched a game, but I watched him for that whole 9 innings. I couldn't believe it, man.
Phillies are a fun team to watch right now. I get a little bit pissed with the way that their approach is at the plate in the batter's box, but overall they got a good lineup, man. They got good players. They're in a good spot. It just they got to get hot when the right time to get hot is, because remember a couple of weeks ago they were in a funk and everybody's like, the Phillies suck now. I'm like, relax, you got to let it play and they got to be hot in the postseason. Yeah, Bearded Willie again. What's up, Bearded? Thank you, brother. He says in 2025, I want to see Munden. I think he should have been drafted earlier, and Georgia linebackers are NFL ready. I'm sorry, but I see him beating out Trotter. I do not.
I think he's a better athlete.
He's definitely a better athlete than
Trotter.
I'm a Trotter guy, though. I like Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Now, full disclosure, he's a St. Joe's prep kid. I'm a St. Joe's prep guy. I mean, I love the player. Now, I haven't seen that much, but my love more is a belief in the player. And I think Munden is here for the future and will be used, but I don't think that's this year. We'll see.
So you think he has a better shot at being Munden has better shot at being like the swing linebacker? You think he'll be the swing linebacker?
I think Trotter will have more reps than Munden this year, yes.
Trotter will have more than – okay.
Look at Beardy. He says, there it is. That might be why, but Bearded. Shh. Kyle, hey, what up, Kyle?
Hey, Zander, I sent you an email. I want to make sure you bring this up for Howard Eskin when I
You sent me an email? I find that hard to believe.
I did. I sent you an email with a picture on it because there's a book of the greatest sports talk radio host of all time, and he's in it. And he goes, I never saw this book ever. How come I'm not?
Dan Sileo, wow. Wow. So listen to this, everybody. Sports talk, the personality behind the personalities. This is the names that are listed here. This is the company that Big Sills has, all right? And he won't say it, and I will. Colin Coward, Scott Van Pelt, Sid Rosenberg, Tim Brando, Tony Bruno, Mitch Levy. Who else we got? Howard Eskin's on here. Dan Sileo is on here. And a bunch of other names. But that's pretty good company right there, my friend.
The best of those guys are West Coast. Mitch was a morning show host and a friend of mine.
Yeah, you know more of him than I do.
In Seattle. And the other kid, Money Smith, is a morning talk show host now on K-Rock in Los Angeles. And this guy did a chapter on all of us. And Howard goes like this, what the hell? I never remember this, but I go, Howard, you had to sit down with him for like an hour because they did a book. So, yeah, this was pretty cool. Somebody sent this to me. I hadn't seen this thing because I don't remember doing it either.
Yeah.
So,
look
yeah.
at Fleming.
Of course,
the email is a picture without words. There's not a single word listed there. There's not even a subject. It just says no subject, Brian.
I don't even know how I fucked my mic up.
Sileo cannot type. No subject.
Hey, I don't even know how I fucked my my mic up. I didn't touch anything. I have no idea how I did this.
It sounds a little better, but I don't know. Maybe it's not.
You think it's the mic? You think no? All right. Maybe
I have to buy you a new mic. Did you break this? Because there's so much dust built up on the mic. You haven't cleaned the thing in 3 years. It's grimy. I could cook a steak on top of that mic. It's so nasty. Come on, dude. That thing is disgusting. I mean, clean your mic.
How's it now?
Clean your mic.
Maybe that's it, because now there's more lights are coming on. Oh, when I do that, it goes yellow. Now I just did it. They're blue again.
Click it. Yeah, green.
Is it green? Am I good?
We'll fix it after the show. Just
yeah. Okay.
Kyle, what up, Kyle? He says, what position group on defense worries y'all the most? For me, it's the secondary.
It is. It's not the edge, because the guys did the job a year ago.
Probably safety for me.
I think it's safety corner. That back end of the secondary. I do it. I don't think.
I feel a little better about corner because of Coop and Quinion.
Yeah, but dude, that safety position, when you did not have CJ back there, you were not very good. Okay? You were not very good. And you're going to put Makuba.
Look at this guy.
Makuba and Sydney.
Look at this guy, the Black Pope. It's a funny name. Is that an AI-generated image right there? It looks like it. I like it.
Yeah.
He says, will Nick get in the way of the new offensive coordinator?
No, because you know why?
Jalen's team. It's Jalen's offense.
Here's clearly why he won't. Because if he wants to make sure that things go smoothly like he did a year ago, hey, what do you think he learned more from? The 23 meltdown or the 2-2 start a year ago?
23 meltdown.
Because the 2-2 start was a precursor from that, right?
You learn more in failure in life. Now, I know 2-2 is not great, but that's just small adversity. I mean, let's be real. That's not real failure.
Let's be real. I thought it was going to carry over from 23.
Yeah, but failure is starting 10-1 and losing 7 straight. That's failure. That's collapse. That you sit on that for an entire offseason.
You fall off the planet like that. And
2-2, you correct after the bye. It's a 10-day stretch. I mean, you correct that.
So do you think the Philadelphia Eagle defense is going to start slow and finish strong, or do you think it's going to be start strong and finish bad?
Start slow.
Start slow.
Start slow, finish strong. They're young.
So they may not be a top 10 defense, but if they're playing like one in December to you, that's cool.
I'm good. But that's where I brought up earlier. This is the Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts and the offense going to have to take some, don't force the offense or the defense to have to win you games. You're going to have to do it yourself a little bit, or at least make their job easier. I think they'll do that. Kyle again. What's up, Kyle? Thank you for the love, bro. Thank you for the super chats.
Thank you guys for the supers, man.
Oh, you might have got this one. Yeah, this was before I was on. Sills, yeah. All right, you got that.
I thought that I thought Bill Cowher was the NC State guy, and he played at NC State. I thought it was Bill Cowher. I didn't know that Pete Carroll was down there. He could have been. He could have been, Kyle. He definitely could have been. So you think he's throwing for 4K this year?
I don't want to put in. I think he's going to.
It doesn't matter.
I don't really give a shit. Yeah, I don't really give a shit about the stats. I really don't. I like what my boy Philadelphia says in the chat. He goes, Morgan and Morgan doesn't guarantee the stats. They guarantee the win. All right. I want the win, Big Cells.
You made a great comment to John. You went like this to him. I think Devontae's going to have a big year. John fired back and said, yeah, does that mean numbers-wise, or does that mean more of an impact on the team?
John hates stats. John hates like everything in the offseason that you talk about.
I know
he hates stats. He hates projections. He hates speculating. He hates lists. He hates predictions. It's like, holy shit. I have to work. I do a longer time pre-show to prepare for questions for John than I do actually on the air, because the guy doesn't want to answer any of my questions. I don't predict. I don't project. I don't make lists. So it's like, good night. All right, Big Sales, great show, brother. I'll catch you tomorrow, my friend.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys please check out Big Z over on Birds 365. Hey, for the record, Chris Sims is going to join us this week too. So we'll be talking with him. Also, Kurt Schilling is going to step in a little bit later on. Hey, Zander, do me a favor. Before I bring – and you know what I did? I'm going to tell you how Howard Eskin, he inspires me. So